Well, better late than never. Let's get this party started. Let go.
Live from the BiffNet Studios World Headquarters in Spring, Texas, it's Barry on Deck, hosted by former ESPN Houston radio host and stand-up comedian Barry Laminack, starring Oliver the Cat. Written by Barry Laminack, produced by Barry Laminack, directed by, you guessed it, Barry Laminack, featuring sports, entertainment, special guests, film sessions, and some drinking. Okay, a lot of drinking. Viewer discretion is advised. And now, here's your host, Barry Laminack.
What's up, you damn dirty deckheads? Welcome to Barry on Deck. I am your host, Barry Laminack. Thank you guys for being here. Today is Wednesday, July 7th, 2021, and this is episode number 286 of Barry on Deck. As always, Barry on Deck brought to you by the AP Law Group. If you have been injured in an accident, somebody has wrongfully deathed a loved one, give them a call, 713-913-GO-AP, or check them out online, aplawgroup.com. Welcome to the show. What a day yesterday we had as a staff, record label, and as a crew. Holy fuck, I'm a little tired, but man, that was fun. I got to do a lot of talking, and surprisingly, my voice has held up rather well. So I'm super pumped to be here. Lots of fun today on the show. I am joined in hour number 2 by not a 1, not a 2, not a 3, but a 4-time NHRA champion. Erica Enders is going to join me. She's from right here in Houston, Texas. She is a badass. She is a boss. And I'm lucky to have her on the show. Shout out to Walt for making this possible. Erica Enders is going to join me in hour number 2. Stick around for that. We got a lot of stuff to talk to her about, and I have a video that I'm going to ask her to walk us through an entire race from start to finish and get her thoughts. Tell us what's going on while we sit in the race car with her. I'm super excited about this. It's going to be a ton of fun. So if you are a racing fan, a motorsports fan, or an NHRA fan, you do not want to miss this. And if you're not, stick around. You're going to learn something, and I think you're going to find this conversation super interesting. Her list of accolades: 4-time NHRA Pro Stock World Champion, winningest female champion in NHRA history. She's been nominated now this year twice for an ESPY, and there's a movie about her called Right on Track. So trust me when I tell you, you do not want to miss hour number 2 when Erica Enders joins Barry on Deck. Until then, we have much to discuss. NBA Finals of Game 1, or I should say Game 1 of the NBA Finals last night. Suns never in doubt, really. So we're going to get into that. I've got sports headlines for you and a crap ton. Sorry, I saw PK's donating blood with no headphones. A crap ton, a whole lot. I'll be clean today. A whole lot of sports to discuss, but we always start with the chat. We always do. First in the chat today, none other than Mrs. Shelby Martian. That's not how you pronounce it. Shelbsters, once again, first in the chat, the greatest decade in the history of the world, at least for the next 2 hours, hour 45-ish. Look, I was super late. All right, don't judge me. But Shelby, once again, putting you all to shame in early. We did have a lot of deckheads, though, in at 154. Judging by the screenshot, look at that. Although Shelby did not get in the super chat first. D-Mata with the huge Congo block, preventing her from getting the triple crown. But look at all those 154s. I love it. Shelby, Josh, John Dory, D-Mata, CC, Justin Swinford, Keith Sager, Perry, Chris Reyes, and Donna all in at 154, and I'm here for it. Let's see. Who else is in the chat today? House is here. Clarence Marshall is here. I mentioned Donna already. Good to see you, Donna. Reminding you guys, like the video. That's a good point there. Make sure you like it. Who else is here? CC. What's up, Walt? Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for the hookup on my guest today. I'm super excited about it. Alex Villanueva. Jen. Hi, Jen. How are you? Yes, I got the scroll updated. Don't hate on me, sister. Matt Poche is here. Who else? Who else in the building? Stephen Luther. Aaron J. Bryant. John Wessling. Esquire in the building. Christy is here. Good to see that. G-Man, what's up, dog? Robert likes beer with the super chat. The King is here. I still haven't sent your trophy. That's on me. I got to be a better sender of things. Who else is here? Aaron Little. I thought I saw Shock is in the building. Jess is here. Jesus Perez. Boy, the gang is all here. Let's get after it because Nick, what's up, bro? Good to see you in. Thank you for stopping by. It's okay if you can't stay. You can always catch the replay. Barry looking like Elon Musk again today. Hey, how about Katie? PK, do me a solid. Go ahead and turn the volume down. I'll wave at you when it's okay because I'm about to cuss somebody out. So go ahead and turn your volume down in 5, 4, 3. Fuck you, John Wessling. Sorry, I didn't give you the full. You kiss my ass. I do not dress like Elon Musk. I do not dress like Mark Cuban. Look, my wife bought this shirt. Huh? Suck it. This kind of looks like Charlie Brown, kind of, if I'm being honest. It looks like a Charlie Brown shirt a little bit. What you got to do, right? So, shut your whore mouth. Don't try to make it better, John Wessling. Don't you dare try to make it better. All right, let's get into this because we do have a lot to get to. Oh, don't forget today is also Fat Slim Fit. Today is also a Whisker Wednesday, so I have more animals for you to adopt from Special Pals. Do not forget that. Oh, you dirty, dirty rascal, you. What's up, White Magic? All right, let's do this. Let's get to our sports headlines first and foremost, right off the bat. And here they are. The XFL is planning a 2023 return. Apparently, talks of a merger have been tabled with the CFL. So I don't know what that's good for. I mean, okay. I can't wait for them to start so that they stop. Okay. I mean, look, the XFL was cool. I wish them the best. I'm not holding out hope for the best. The talks of merger have been tabled with the CFL. So who knows? I just put it on there. It's just a headline. All right, people, don't ask me for 1,000 opinions on the XFL and the CFL because you gets none. Nevada won't discipline fighters for marijuana going forward, which I think is good. I think a lot of this is happening on the tails of the Sha'Carri Richardson issue of her not being allowed to go to the Olympics because she smoked a little weed to numb the pain of losing a loved one. So I think you're going to start to see this. Nevada the first to step up and say, look, no longer will we penalize or discipline fighters for marijuana. Get ready because the dominoes are about to fall. All it took was one. And no, the Olympics might be the last place where it takes, because this was an Olympic rule. I think the IOC is the one that has the rules about marijuana. It's slowly going to be phased out of all these sports, especially the more that it becomes legal in more states. So as it goes, I expect it to be phased out, but Nevada stepping up, being the first to say that they won't penalize fighters for testing positive for marijuana in the state. The Dodgers have decided to call off the Trevor Bauer bobblehead night on August 19th. That's probably good. It's probably real good. And yes, I have a lot of inappropriate jokes that I wrote about this that I shan't be saying on air because I do not want to get canceled. I do not want to get in trouble, so I shan't be making my Trevor Bauer bobblehead jokes. We'll just leave it at that. Greg Popovich said that the Team USA coaching staff and the team itself is going to demand a lot from Kevin Love, who caused quite a stir for getting a spot on the team. A lot of people upset with the fact that Love got a spot. He hasn't played well. Hell, he hasn't played much. And, I guess Pop's saying the right things, but, if you're super upset that Kevin Love is on the Olympic team, I'm kind of going to need you to get a life. Now, if he manages to miss a game-winning shot for gold medal, okay, then let's be mad. But until then, can we chill a little bit? Jason Tatum was honored to be wearing Kobe Bryant's number 10 for the USA squad. The problem is, look, it's not Kobe's. This is going to probably piss some of you off, and that's okay. You can disagree with me. You can get mad at me. That's fine. It's not Kobe's number 10. Not on Team USA. I think Kobe was great. One of the all-time greats. Maybe one of the best. I mean, without a doubt, one of the best ever, right? But when it comes to the Olympics and the team sport of the Olympics, I don't think you can say that, oh, this number belongs to Kobe. I mean, it's really about representing the USA and not the name on the back. It's the name on the front. That's the old saying. I hesitate to say that, oh, we're just going to start assigning numbers to people. Yeah. That's not Kobe's number 10. That's the USA team's number 10. Kobe wore it, but it's not Kobe's. And I know that's splitting hairs, but I want to make really sure that when it comes to the Olympics, in a lot of ways, when a team sport specifically, you really need to make sure that it's about the team and not an individual. You know, you don't see that in track, I guess. I don't know. Amos said, who the hell invited Kevin Love to Team USA? Team USA invited Kevin Love to Team USA. Amos. What's up, Christopher Mina? All right, and then the last thing on the headlines was the Suns lose Saric early in game 1 with a knee injury, which is going to lead us into our coverage. It's not really coverage, just our discussion of game 1 of the NBA Finals. If you missed it, by the way, last night we sidecasted it, and by we, I mean myself, Mike Liebeshock, and John Wessling, which comprises the Devil's Threesome, the Unfuckables. That would be Sports Riot. Twitch.tv/Sports Riot Live. That's the website. If you missed it, we'll be sidecasting UFC 264 on Saturday. We've got a regular show on Thursday, which will happen to be game 2 of the NBA Finals, but it won't be an official sidecast. But I feel like if you twisted our arm, we probably would just go ahead and do the whole game and talk about it. So maybe we will. We don't know. Look, just join and hang out and have fun, because we certainly did. If you missed last night's show, you missed a ton. Okay. But the finals occurred last night. It was game 1. Phoenix winning 118-105. It was really never in doubt. I think the closest it got in the late third, fourth quarter was around 10. Cece said she watched it all this morning. Sad she missed last night. Well, we missed you, Cece. It was a hell of a lot of fun. We had a great time. And by the way, can I just pause for the calls? I try not to, cross streams between Sports Riot and Barry on Deck, because I want each show to have its own identity. But a lot of you guys watch that and watch this, and man, you guys are just unbelievable. Thank you so much for a great stream last night and your generosity. We got level 5 hype trains and the subs, and we're really excited about that show. So I just wanted to say thank you so much, if we haven't already, for supporting that show and coming over and watching it with us whenever we do stream. All right, back to it. So Suns win 118-105. Look, if you want me to recap this came down to 3 things, in my opinion. Free throws, Bucks bad shooting. I mean, Chris Middleton had 29 points on 26 shots. It's right there on your screen on the left under game leaders points. He had 29. Cool. But when you get 29 points on 26 shots, yeah, it's not falling for you. Okay? It's not falling for you. So, Bucks didn't shoot well. Drew Holiday didn't shoot well either. And I thought he should have done a better job in trying to contain Chris Paul. And maybe that's why he didn't shoot well. Maybe that's why he didn't play well. But he also didn't do a good job of containing Chris Paul. And if the Bucks are going to win, they're going to rely on several things. A healthy Giannis, Middleton knocking down his shots and shooting better than 12 of 26. And it's also, they're going to be relying on Drew Holiday to play solid defense on Chris Paul. You're not going to stop Chris Paul. But the problem was this, and they highlighted it on the game last night, and we brought it up on the Sports Riot sidecast at the point that they highlighted it. The fact of the matter is, Chris Paul did whatever he wanted offensively, whether it was scoring or distributing, running the pick and roll, putting the Bucks defense in bad positions where you got Brook Lopez guarding Chris Paul. That's advantage Suns every day, all day. And if he continues to be able to do that, this isn't going to be a long series. I don't care if Giannis is healthy or not. If they let Chris Paul do what he did last night, it's not going to matter. So first thing that has to happen is Drew Holiday has got to be able to fight through some of the picks that are going to be set so that he can stay with Chris Paul and not end up with matchups where bigs are guarding Chris Paul out on the perimeter where he can either get a mid-range shot, get to the bucket, or actually run the pick and roll. It creates a challenge. And, the fact that he played here in Houston, we saw that some. We saw him be able to conduct that offense the way he did last night. I do think you got to be a little bit cautious too when we talked about Chris Middleton and his shot not falling. The Bucks, in a way, remind me of the Rockets in that regard. They rely heavily on the three-point game. They rely heavily on perimeter shooting. And we saw that with Houston. When you have a team that relies strictly or mostly, which, they have Giannis, so they do have an inside game, unlike the Rockets, which I guess you could say pick and roll with Capella was their inside game. Great. But we saw that the Rockets relied heavily on perimeter shooting, three-point shooting. And sometimes you lose that. Sometimes it goes cold. And it tends to go cold in the playoffs when teams figure out how to defend it appropriately. And I think you saw that last night with the Bucks as well. Shots weren't falling. It took a lot of shots to get the points that they did. This is the concern you have when I'm not going to call the Bucks a one-dimensional offense because it still runs through Giannis. But when you rely heavily on the three-point shooting and don't have any mid-range game or any other alternatives, your shot goes cold and you see what happened last night. Third thing I wanted to talk about was the free throw discrepancy. That's going to happen when you're on the road. If you're not even going to get a lot of calls on the road, but when they go home, they're going to make up for that some. And I bet you, I'm willing to bet you on Thursday, that gap you saw in the box score between the two, which was it? It was, Bucks were 9 of 16 from the free throw line. The Suns were 25 of 26. So 10 more free throw attempts than the Bucks, but made all of their free throws. They missed one free throw. So Bucks have to shoot better. They got to get to the line a little bit more, but they got to shoot a lot better. You can't shoot 56% from the free throw line. You basically, if you match what the Suns do or come close, you add up a significant difference or you regain a significant difference in the discrepancy in score. And if Middleton starts knocking down a few more shots or is maybe a little more efficient with his offense, it's a different ballgame. So the point is this. The Suns outplayed the Bucks. They outright won game one. There is a lot of room for improvement for the Bucks, but it can be done. I'm still sticking with my Bucks in 6, although it doesn't look good because when you think about what happened in that game last night, Giannis was healthy. He led the Bucks in rebounds. That's a lot of jumping. That's a lot of up and down. 15 defensive rebounds, 2 offensive rebounds. DeAndre Ayton still out-rebounded him 19-17. But I think for me, there was a point in the game, and we mentioned it during the sidecast on Sports Riot, but there was a point in the game where Giannis goes coast to coast trailing an offensive break by the Suns. He's essentially out of the play when the break begins, and it starts at half court. But Giannis makes up that difference and gets the block, lands awkwardly. There was some physical contact during the block. It was a good block, clean block. But that sequence kind of told you, okay, this knee, it might be sore and it might be painful, but it's not preventing him. It's not holding him back. It's not preventing him from being a contributor in this game. I mean, hell, he led them in rebounds. So that excuse of the knee, we're going to see what it comes in, how it works in game 2, because it's probably going to be some, it's sore and it's this and that. Cool. But I don't think the knee was a factor last night for Giannis. So now it's just the Suns played better. You can't say, they didn't have Giannis, because they did, and he played well. He absolutely played well. And I do agree with this. Budenholzer overrated. I've been saying this. Yeah, I don't think he's a great coach. I don't think he's the smartest coach in the world. I don't think anybody's going to accuse him of that. And I think that guys like Giannis and Middleton and the talent that they have can kind of hide some of the deficiencies that he may have as a coach. I think he's the worst coach in basketball. I don't think he's great in that regard. And one other thing about Giannis, he did have a quote, and this is telling on where he's at and what they're doing. I thought I would be out for a year. That's how bad that injury was. And he went on to talk about the fact that the staff and the trainers and everybody over there in the Bucs organization has done a great job. Plus, if you know, he's apparently a workout freak and takes care of his body and is super concerned about being healthy. So, yeah, that's game one in a nutshell. Trucker Taco said, "What up, deckheads?" At Mod Pizza. Nice. I like Mod Pizza. That's good pizza. Put it on speaker. Don't do that. There's going to be curse words flying around. Eamon said, Bucks got switching everything, which only really works on heavy three-point shooting teams. The Sun have no problem taking those mid-range jumpers. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And again, like I said earlier, that was Chris Paul orchestrating those pick and rolls and the switches and the forcing them into defenses they didn't want to be in. You call them drop back defenses. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend like I know all the defensive schemes of an NBA basketball team. All I know is this: if you watch the game, if you saw some of what happened, you could tell that Chris Paul knew exactly where he wanted the defenders to be. And don't get it wrong. Don't get this twisted. The Sun, and we saw Chris Paul do this time and again while he was here, and any good point guard can do this. Any good offensive basketball team can. But they're going to get a mismatch on their scorer, on their ball handler. They're just going to do that. And Chris Paul is one of the best at doing that. So, Walton, I would say poor in-game adjustments by the Bucks, but there were adjustments. Yeah. What else? What else did you guys say about it? Blue. I think I got it down to a 7 at one point. Yeah. Okay. So there you go. If can't coach, don't adjust to the pick and roll, it's over. No, that's true. That is true, Perry. If they don't figure something out, and that's where I go back to, and I don't know, talk to Walt, I don't know shit about basketball, but if you go back and watch the game, I think one of the things you've got to see is you got to figure out a way for Jrue Holiday to basically just stay with Chris Paul the entire time. I mean, he's got to go. Jrue Holiday has to forget about being a scoring option first and just go PJ Tucker in this bitch. Because y'all know how PJ Tucker is. PJ Tucker won't take a shot. He won't score a point. You might see one rebound, one assist, one block in the box score with no points. But the fact of the matter is, his job is to disrupt the offense, is to make whoever the star is on the other team, whether they play 1 through 5, is to stick to them and make it difficult on them all night. And I think that's what Jrue Holiday is going to have to do with Chris Paul. Because yes, Chris Paul can score, but he's fine with getting Devin Booker involved and allowing him to go off for 40. That's why you've got to make Chris Paul work. You've got to make this difficult for him to run the offense, and that's all going to be on Jrue Holiday. Fact. So we could talk about Giannis and Middleton and all that, but Jrue Holiday is going to have a much better defensive game if they're going to have any chance of beating the Suns. What's it take to get a day twerk? No. I'm all twerked out. Yeah, you did miss me twerking last night. I got a little. Yeah, today of all days, probably not. I'm a little petered out. You can probably tell there's not as much excitement. There's not as much, pep in my step. Went to bed late, got up early, working on stuff. So yeah, little tired, but man, yesterday was fun. Got to do the blitz. If you missed it, we did Barry on deck from 11 to 1. I did the blitz from 4 to 7. I hurried home to do Sports Riot Live from 8 to 10:30. Fun day, exhausting day, but I wouldn't have traded it for the world. And I just got to say this. I don't want to brag. And I don't like to brag a lot. Because I think when you do that, it's just bad form. And 2, with my luck, anytime I'm proud of something or something good happens, what's up, KB Holmes? Said, what up, deckheads? I'm at Chuck E. Cheese. Earmuffs kids. Yeah, fuck them kids. Okay, see, so you can't tell me that and then not expect me to yell fuck them kids because you're at Chuck E. Cheese. Are you kidding me? Hey, slow down. Quit running. Okay. Yeah, Perry, you're right. I said yesterday, Drew is going to have to be the X factor either offensively or defensively. He's got to show up. That's a great take. Total Dallas, like number 35. I finally figured out what that means. Finally, after all this time, now I get it. I'm such a dumbass. Anyways, I got to take a moment and just say how grateful I am, or how thankful I am for you guys, because, and I know it wasn't just you guys, but the last 2 times that I've done the Blitz, and I'm not bragging here. I have receipts. I mean, these are facts. The last 2 times that I did the Blitz, one when I filled in for AJ with Fred, and one when I filled in for Fred with AJ yesterday, were the 2 highest. What is this? I don't think you can do cry 1000. No, I'm not going to cry, John Westling. Are you trying to do bits? That's not how you do bits. You can't just type in cry 1000 and it don't work like that. So I'll say this. If you go back, and you can go look at the numbers today. Yes, you did. We doubled up the highest rated Twitch show, the highest viewed Twitch show that they had when Fred and I did it. Going into that, they had about 900 and 950, at least in the stuff that Twitch keeps. And then when Fred and I did the show got like 1,800 views. I mean, we more than doubled what they were doing on a daily basis on that show. In fact, it was the highest viewed Twitch show on their channel, at least in the stuff that they had, right? Super proud of that. Didn't think that would happen again. I thought, oh, well, that's just the novelty of me being there. But then I checked on the press box Twitch, and same thing. You guys helped me double the numbers on that. They went from getting 400 to 500 to 1,000, which was amazing. And so I thought, all right, well, that was just the one-time day of the novelty of me being back. But not so. Back with AJ, and yesterday again, 1,500 views, more than almost doubled again what they get on that show, which is about 900 to 950. And we ended up with 1,500 views. And I tell you what, that means a lot to me, because that means you guys are still supporting and you're taking the time to do so. And man, thank you so much. It does. I know in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't mean a lot in general. But when I get to look at their Twitch numbers and go, you know what? If not for a day or two, we killed it. Like we even better than the bench gets on a daily basis, which is about 1,000. We killed it. And so I appreciate you guys. And you know that, but I just had to tell you one more time. I'm pretty proud of the numbers that we put up on their Twitch. I really am. I'm very proud of that. And not that it's going to matter or make a difference in anything, but it feels good to know that you guys are still watching and supporting and everything else. So, pretty dope. Pretty dope. Thank you. And thank you, Donna. She said with 7.5 hours of Barry on Deck and Sports Right, I'm here for it. Yeah, thank you, sweetie. Very much appreciate that. And I did hear, and I saw some of it. We can just talk for a second. I'm not going to badmouth their Twitch audience, but boy, they're fucking assholes. I guess I'm going to badmouth them a little bit. Look, here's the problem. You don't have to like me. Like, there was this fucking one guy that said the best thing AJ did, the best thing AJ ever did for that station was fire me, and the worst thing he ever did was bring me back for a day. And then I look, and the motherfucker still follows me on Twitter. Bro, if you hate me so much, if you guys don't like me, why do you watch? Why do you listen? Why do you tweet me? Why do you follow me? Like, why are you there? If you dislike somebody like me that much, I don't know about y'all. But the crazy thing is, if I don't like something, I don't hate watch it. Who the fuck is out here hate watching a Twitch stream with a dude they don't like on it? If I'm watching Twitch and Barry Laminate comes on and I'm like, God, I hate this fucking guy. Guess what I don't do? Watch it. I go, not today, Satan. I'm out. And then I go do something else. I turn the dial. I go fuck off for a day. It amazes me about with how many times someone will fucking hate watch or grudge watch something. Why? Why do you follow me on Twitter if you don't like me? Like, you're not gonna make me change who I am. Or anybody for that matter. Let's just not even talk about me. Let's just talk about people that do this for a living. I almost used the word celebrities, which is fucking ridiculous. I'm certainly not a celebrity. But people that are in the entertainment business, whether it be radio or TV or stand-up comedy or what podcast, whatever it is. Why do you think that leaving a shitty comment on their YouTube channel or on their Twitch or on their Twitter is going to make them change with it? They got where they're at by being who they are. I'm not talking about you guys. I'm saying whatever troll might happen to see this. Do you think that person that you're trolling or saying nasty shit about gives one single fuck about you? If you don't like them, they don't care about you. That's how this works. Never in the history of people talking into a microphone has someone said, hey, I don't like you. Barry is not funny. And then that person go, oh my God, I quit. Like, what the fuck? You're literally just wasting time at Internet Inc. by typing. It's amazing to me that you would take time to do that. I don't have those cycles in my life to be fucking hate watching something. I got shit to do. Unbelievable. And so you had like 3 or 4 dudes. And then my favorite part of yesterday's Twitch stream was there was one guy in there that literally thought he knew why I chose the 2 to 4 time slot for this show. He was like, you didn't choose it because of that. You chose it because of this. I'm like, hey, fuck you. You have no idea what you're talking about. You are literally talking out of your ass. You literally have no idea. In fact, why don't you ask Joel and Nick and a few others as to John Wessling as to why I chose the 2 to 4 slot? You fucking idiots. It's not so much me explaining it. It's more some venting, but it's more some, man, I hope that they find this, maybe because they saw me yesterday, like, I'm going to go hate watch some more of this. And I hope that they see this and go, wow, I'm a fucking loser because I'm chasing people around the internet talking shit on a Twitch chat. Like, what? They literally, I understand if you enjoy a show. I do that. I enjoy a show. I go in the chat and I say how much I enjoy it or I like the guys or whatever. But if I don't enjoy a show, I don't sit there and fucking troll the chat. Oh my God. Oh my God. Unbelievable. Wessling said, I got no time to hate watch stuff. I'm busy hate making my own shit. That's the thing. Go do something productive, man. Toadal said, I love how it pisses them off when I'm unbothered by them. That's all of them. Hello, Geometry Dash Madness. How are you? Welcome to the program. I hope you're not here to hate watch me. You'll be wasting your time. By the way, if you have not already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It is available right down there. You just click on the little subscribe button. You'll get notified when I'm going live. You can come back and check it out. Also, make sure you like the video. This here video that we're discussing. What did the one person kept saying? I didn't see that yesterday. I didn't read that. I didn't know what was going on. Brandon said those Twitch guys are pretty unbearable. The people need a life. They need to moderate it better. They need to, Internet Inc. Is it finite? Yeah, you can run out of Internet Inc. Yeah, that's how it works. Fuck that whole fucking show. Oh, that's great. I would say that I'd never do it, but I'm actually hate watching soccer right now. Booyah, booyah. Geometry, post a problem for us to solve. Oh my God, that sounds boring. That sounds really boring. And of course, the math teacher wants Geometry to stay and post math stuff. The problem is they only use the producers to mod. Yeah, that's the problem. That is an issue for sure. All right, we have more to discuss. In fact, let's go ahead and do this before I get to your Whisker Wednesday adoptable animals for the day real quick. Let me tell you about the AP Law Group. Folks, if you have been injured in an accident, let's say you've been struck by an 18-wheeler, let's say you were hit from behind, whatever kind of accident it is that you have been in and it wasn't your fault, get on the phone right now and call the AP Law Group, 713-913-GO-AP. 713-913-GO-AP is the number. My guys Gilbert and Arsha over there at the AP Law Group are going to take care of you. They are local dudes, born and raised right here in Houston, Texas. They got you, fam. They went to law school at the U of H. These guys are H-Town through and through. The whole reason that the AP Law Group even exists is because Gilbert worked at an insurance company, got tired of seeing the little man screwed. So he says, no more, we start in the AP Law Group, and they did. And when you call the AP Law Group, you're going to talk to an attorney, not an assistant. And it's like they tell you, you're going to get small firm results, but you're going to get big firm, I'm always messing this up. You're going to get big firm results, but you're going to get that small firm attention. They don't treat you just like a number. You're a person to the folks at the AP Law Group. Give them a call right now. 713-913-GO-AP is the number, or online at aplawgroup.com. All right, now back to it. It is a Whisker Wednesday, so let's adopt some animals, you guys. Let's get some animals a home. That's not what I was looking for. Right there. If you don't know, Whisker Wednesday brought to you by Special Pals each and every week. Special Pals is open Wednesday through Sunday, 12 to 4 p.m. for adoptions. All of the dogs and cats that you adopt come. When I adopted, what is Spencer now? His name was Wyoming at the time. But what is Spencer now? A fully vaccinated, microchipped, spayed, neutered. All of them are up to date on their flea and heartworm preventions and all that. Give them a call or go online, specialpals.org. You can see all of the animals they have available for you to adopt, and you can learn how you can help. All right, so the animals, listen, shut up. I didn't write it, Josh. That's their motto. Big, firm results. And House puts a comma in there. It's not big, comma, firm results. All right. Here's your first animal up for adoption this week. Look at old Linus. The cutie. Linus is an orange male cat ready for a quiet life after growing up in the country. He's about 2 years old, and his favorite Netflix shows are Ozark and Grace and Frankie. Okay. He's a couch potato. He probably knows how to work your remote already. Guys, go adopt Linus. You know, they always say redheads, gingers have no soul. That's not true. Linus has a soul, so go adopt Linus from Special Pals right there. Log on specialpals.org, and you can check out Linus if you so choose. Now, if you don't want a kitty, you can get you a dog. This is SPINOSAURUS, and this guy's crazy prehistoric name is a mouthful, but it's very fitting because he's huge. Spinosaurus is about 7 months old and still growing. He's long, he's lean, sounds like me, and anything but mean, sounds like me. He's got a great goofy puppy energy and loves to play fetch in the yard. If you're looking for a big boy, get on over to specialpals.org and adopt one of these beautiful creatures. They are available right now. Now, Geometry is over here with his way too early 2021. Geometry, can we get through this season, bro? You already got the Suns going 66 and 16. What? Why? What? I mean, have they even released the schedule yet? You don't want to talk about way too early. You missed it. That's a way too early. You're not even gonna let this season play out yet. Okay. See you in a little bit, Matt Poche. Excuse me. My way too early predictions: Rockets make the playoffs. Book it, Dano. Okay. What on earth? How are you coming up with this, Geometry? How are you coming up with this? Mavs 81-1. Total Dallas. You are such a troll. 66 and 16 seems like too many numbers. It's an 82 game season. So yeah, 6 says 82. Are they not playing 82 games? Did something change? Did I miss something? I don't know. All right. Just feel free to drop in your way too early. Why are we doing those? I feel like there needs to be a rule in sports. You can't do next season predictions while you're still in this season. Okay? That's not house. You need to calm your ass down. You need to flip that. That needs to be 7-75. I agree. Let's get through this long ass season first. Not a basketball fan, apparently. KB Holmes said, Rockets prediction, no one comes out of the club lounges. That's outstanding, KB Holmes. That is outstanding. That is a fact. That is an absolute fact. All right, so we got through Bucks. Now, one of the other things, I don't know, we need to catch up on this whole Rachel Nichols, Maria Taylor thing, because your boy, NBA man at the top, Adam Silver, came out and had something to say about the way that he felt like the NBA handled all this. Sorry, my mouse was freaking out for some goddamn reason. Silver had, well, let's just put it this way. He had thoughts on the way that the NBA probably could, or the way the ESPN probably could have handled this a little bit better. This was his quote. And this is Adam Silver talking about the ESPN issue between Maria Taylor and Rachel Nichols. He said, I think it's particularly unfortunate that two women in the industry are pitted against each other. I know that both Rachel and Maria are terrific at what they do. They work extraordinarily hard. I think part of the problem is that when people can't get in a room and talk through these issues, this seemingly has festered now for a full year. I would have thought that in the past year, maybe through some incredibly difficult conversations, that ESPN would have found a way to be able to work through it. Obviously not. A lot of words, I mean, that's some pretty harsh criticism from the main talking, I guess the man in charge of the NBA. That's some pretty harsh criticism. Mind you, ESPN carries NBA basketball. So this is a reflection in a lot of ways on the NBA because it's their product. And now the talk is that, Rachel Nichols isn't on the sidelines anymore, that she's been replaced. And this all happened a year ago. Here's the thing. There was something about what he said. I think it's particularly unfortunate that two women in the industry are pitted against each other. Now, I'm not going to be that guy, but I will say this. In any kind of entertainment endeavor, in any job at any workplace, you're going to have to go up against the opposite sex, the same sex, same race, a different race. And if they already have two athletes on a panel, and that panel consists of two males, then the final slot, instead of just throwing another dude on there, if they want to include a female voice on the panel, then you need to narrow it down. Let's see. Do we want to go Maria Taylor? Do we want to go Rachel Nichols? Which one do we want to do? Would Adam Silver have rather it been Maria Taylor versus Stephen A. Smith? It was just a name I pulled out. I know that wouldn't have been him. But then that would have been an issue. Why wasn't it two females up for the gig? This is a no-win situation in a lot of ways. I think ESPN in some way trying to do the right thing by saying, hey, let's put a female on this panel. So let's see what females we have on staff that qualify for a gig like this. It's basketball, it's NBA, let's see who qualifies and let's figure it out from there. So I think Adam Silver needs to kind of stay in his lane and chill the fuck out a little bit, because what do you want him to do? Did you want him to just put another dude on there? You'd be bitching about that. How come there's no females on that show? And if you would have put a female versus a dude, why wasn't it all females that were in the running for that spot? It's a no-win situation in a lot of ways. If you're ESPN at that point, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. So I think Adam Silver needs to stay in his lane. And you guys know me, if I agreed and I thought this was a good take and a good way of approaching it, I absolutely would say that. But come on, let's just not roast ESPN for no reason, unnecessarily. Now, we can talk about their track record of diversity and all that, but the fact of the matter is, they tried to do the right thing. They tried to put a female voice on this show that had 2 dudes already. So why are you bitching about that? Instead of saying, I'm so glad that there was several qualified females under the employ of ESPN that were nominated and considered for the position. Good for them. Way to start trying to make it right. No, you shouldn't have pitted 2 women against each other. What the fuck are you talking about? Do you understand that in the WNBA, when they're trying to field a team, that it's a woman versus a woman for that last spot on the team? Like, what the fuck does that? That's an asinine. It's an asinine way to look at this, Adam. I don't know. It's weird. Any move they make will be criticized by some angle. 1,000%. That's the problem right now. Now, in a way, House, they dug their own grave here. Let's be honest. In a way, they have dug their own grave and done this to themselves. But the fact of the matter is, you had 2 females that were up for this position, the lead on this show, and the other one was probably going to get sideline duties. And again, at some point, somebody's going to get smart enough to know that somebody like Doris Burke is good enough to call these games. Why do we have to put females only as sideline reporters? There's got to be more qualified female play-by-play persons. And if there's not, then foster that. This just, I don't know. They're in a no-win situation 1,000%. Rev said, I think there is a chance he was talking about how ESPN handled it with 2 women, not the fact that 2 women were going for the same job. I think part of the problem is that when people get, I think it's particularly unfortunate that 2 women in the industry are pitted against each other. I think that he's talking about the fact that they were both up for the same job, because that's why Rachel Nichols was bitching in the first place. She felt that was her gig. But then they give it to Maria Taylor. Hey, I'm all for it. This is Rachel Nichols now. Paraphrasing, I'm all for diversity. Just not my job. That was my job. So I think that this was a case of 2 females up for the same position. That's what it was. So, I mean, you're either going to be mad that there wasn't enough females that were offered the role, or you're going to be mad that you pitted them against each other. But the fact of the matter is, if you wanted a female on that panel and you had already filled 2 of the 3 spots, you were going to have several females up for that job. So I think Adam Silver he's piling on at this point. In my opinion, he's piling on at this point. Now, whether you want to talk about maybe there should have been female athletes on the panel, that's a whole different discussion completely. But for him to say, I think it's particularly unfortunate that 2 women in the industry are pitted against each other. I think the flip side of that, Adam, is that it would be even more unfortunate if no females were considered in the first place. That's the starting point for all of this. So Perry said ESPN drops the ball in just about everything they do. Well, yeah. I mean, this is a mess, and they have no one to blame but themselves for their lack of diversity and inclusion up until now. That's just where they sit. So, all right, I'm pretty excited about this, you guys, because I teased it. I told you we have greatness in our presence for the show today, and I am joined by that greatness right now. Please help me welcome to Barry on Deck, a 4-time world champion NHRA racer, Erica Enders, joining me on the program. Erica, thank you so much for agreeing to do this.
Of course. I know we've been trying to do it for a long time. I'm sorry it's taken so long, but I'm glad to be here today.
Well, listen, when your resume is what your resume is, it's going to take a while. There are things to be done. Let me read this to the people that don't know. A NHRA Pro Stock 4-time world champion. The first was in 2015. So you're kind of a dynasty now, if we're being honest. I mean, if you were an NBA franchise, they'd be talking dynasty, right? The winningest female champion in NHRA history. You have been nominated now this year. You're nominated again for an ESPY. This is the second time you've been nominated. And there's the movie Right on Track that Disney made about you. I mean, look, it's a pretty big deal. So you got a lot of stuff going on. So I completely understand that you're like, who? What guy on YouTube? No, I'm not doing that. I got ESPYs to win.
No way.
Well, thanks for being here. I'm excited about this. Walt called me. He's like, hey, I'm like, yeah, please tell her. I'll cancel. I don't care. I'll run people off. Let's do this. You are in the midst of the season just started right now. You've got a couple of races under the belt for this season. Is that correct?
Correct. We started in March. We typically start in February, but we start on the West Coast, and them being behind the times and getting their crap together, we started in Gainesville, Florida this March. So I believe Norwalk last weekend was our 7th race of an 18 race season. Which
you won, by the way. Second win already this season, correct?
We did. We won Norwalk in really cool fashion. We were able to race our rival, Greg Anderson, in the final round, who's also gunning to make some history to tie to be the winningest pro stock driver of all time with Warren Johnson at 97 wins. And we were able to hold him off for one more week with him having a faster car. We were able to go out there and get the win for Milling Performance and my entire Elite Motorsports team. So it was a really fun, important race for us, and very exciting to get back in the winner's circle.
I love that you say we, right? Like you are all about the team. In fact, I have a video I want to go over with you. If you'll indulge me on this, we're not going to do it right now because I still want to talk. I have a lot of questions, but Walt sent me a video. By the way, shout out to Walt for making this all happen in the first place. But Walt sent me a video in car of you racing. And it's fascinating, and we're going to show that to the people, and I'm hoping what you'll do is kind of walk us through what's going through the mind of a world champion when they're sitting at the car at the line. And I have questions about the sport. I don't know, like, why are you burning your tires? That's just wasting good tires. So we're going to get to all that. What I noticed about the video is at the end, you said something to the effect of, I'm proud of you guys. You did it. You're in the car, like you're the driver, but you're saying this is all the team. Is that right?
1,000,000%. I couldn't do it without them. It takes a whole organization of people, and I've raced for a number of different teams throughout my career, but until I got here at Elite Motorsports, I really had no idea what a true team was, and it's a huge family atmosphere, and it's so important to have that trust and that chemistry and that camaraderie, and that's something that we have here. So Richard Freeman, my team owner, organized the most perfect group of people who you mentioned about reading resumes. If you were to read their resumes as well, the list just goes on and on. They have accomplished really great things in their career, and the fact that we are all together at this moment in time and racing for our 5th world championship is a huge blessing. But yes, it's all about the team. I'm just lucky enough to sit in the car and have the best reaction time I can, and let the clutch out, shift the gears, keep it from crashing, and hopefully cross the finish line first. So that's a goal of mine as a driver, but it takes a whole group of people.
How many are on the team besides just you? Like, how many are there that would comprise a racing team? I think people would be surprised at this number.
So depending on how many cars we have on a given weekend, we're between 38 and 45 people that I'm responsible for all of their travel arrangements and stuff at the racetrack and hotel accommodations and feeding them. And so it's quite a large group, actually.
It's crazy. I mean, when Walt got me when we met the first time and walking around, you see a car and you see a driver and you think, all right, and there's 3 or 4 people that are standing around at the line at the starting, was it the starting line? So you're like, oh, okay, there's like 4 or 5 people, 40-something people in order for you to race for 6 seconds. It's crazy. But that's the sport, though, right?
It is. It's mind-blowing, the amount of people that it takes to make it happen. And our shop is based here in Oklahoma, and we have a full-on engine development center in the back, and there are guys that work in that facility that don't ever even come to the racetrack that are responsible for our horsepower. So it takes a whole family of them, and couldn't do it without one single one of them. So now, it's a pretty cool deal.
My ignorance in the sport, I mean, Walt walked around and talked to me like I was a 6-year-old, and he needed to, because I was like, I have no idea how this sport works. I didn't grow up watching it. My family wasn't racing fans, but racing fans know racing fans know the sport like I know maybe football or basketball or whatever. It was so eye-opening to see everything about it. And what I don't think people realize, I mean, you know that you're timed in seconds, but when Walt was explaining to me, what do they call it? The clutch pedal reaction time. And you get down to pedal position, the clutch position. Like, he said, you're very like, well, this is a nth of a degree off this. Please explain this to me and why it's so important.
So, Our class of pro stock, we take a 16 car field. That's how many cars can qualify for single elimination round racing on Sunday. So one race is 16, 2, 15, 3, 14, so on and so forth. So our class is separated by just a couple hundredths of a second from the guy that's on top to the guy that's on the bottom. So races are won and lost by thousandths of a second. So every competitive edge that we can get, we go after. And as a driver, I have a lot of seat time in these cars. I've worked really hard with my chassis builder to create a clutch pedal that I feel comfortable with. And then the linkage, which connects the clutch pedal to the bell housing, to the actual clutch pack inside the bell housing. So like a longer pedal would make you have a slower reaction. A shorter pedal would be faster, but it would be harder to push. So you want it to push hard, but not too hard where it slows your reaction time down. So it's just like fine tuning, and it's kind of hard to explain. Next time you come out with Walt, I'd love to show you how it works, but it's something that we spend a lot of time on, and again, a lot of seat time, a lot of practice time, and it just, we continue to fine tune it. But there are other things that play a role into reaction time as well, as far as track condition goes. How hot the racetrack is, how sticky it is, if it has bald spots. Then you go to atmospheric conditions. If the sun is directly shining on the tree, as opposed to maybe running later in the evening when it's a little bit darker, your reaction time is going to be a little bit better. Kind of think of being in a dark room and turning the light on real quick. It's kind of like super bright, and you react quicker than if you were standing in direct sunlight. So
Really?
All of those things play a role into it. How high your engine RPM is when you leave the starting line, all of that stuff. So I take all of that into account when setting up my linkage, and that's why I feel like we're able to be really good on the tree.
That is fascinating. And Walt said, like, you're talking about a tenth of a second, and he used the term 005 in the video that we're going to watch later, that we're going to walk you through, which, by the way, I got it from your Facebook. But in that video, he was like, yeah, I think she got a 005. I was like, I don't know what that means, Walt. He was like, it means that her reaction time on the clutch was 0.005 seconds. I don't even know how fast I don't even know. That's not a blink of an eye, is it? Like, that's faster than a blink, right?
Yeah, a tenth of a second would be a blink. So 0.1 is a blink, and we're 0.005. So 0.000 is perfect.
Yeah.
And so we're 5 thousandths away from a perfect reaction time. We're also 6 thousandths away from being red, which would mean you left the starting line before the green light and you're disqualified. So kind of like I
don't mean to cut you off, but you're saying but you're the one that has to react.
I always say we. There's no I in team, and we do all of it together. I'm the one that has to let go and be on time, and I'm responsible for getting our state-of-the-art equipment across the finish line safely. But other than that, it's a group effort.
Now, do you do any type of training for reaction time? I imagine, you can watch boxers or baseball players or whatever, and they do certain drills, basketball players for their reaction time. Do you, and what are some of those drills that you do or that you focus on to keep your reaction time at its peak?
So I have a simulator that is kind of like the cockpit of our race car, with the steering wheel, the shifter, the clutch pedal, the gas pedal. It's not, it's not the race car, but it's as close as you can get without having to spend the money to go to the track to practice. And then we have the actual Christmas tree, the light system that starts the races. And so you're able to practice on that. But honestly, like the best practice is actual seat time. And we're going to go up to Tulsa, Oklahoma on Friday and do some testing. I'm going to drive my car and a couple of my teammates' cars. They can't come down because of work. So again, I'm going to get more seat time and more practice time for myself. So nothing replaces actually doing it.
So like simulators or any kind of reactionary, I don't want to say workouts, but like, this just sounds so silly, but do you have like a thing that you'll do with your feet for like reaction time, where they'll maybe show you a light and you have to do a left foot, or I don't know, that there's always stuff like that. It's just about being in the car, right? That's the key.
I feel like that's the best way to do it. I've seen, some of those light boards that people have on the wall at the gym, and they flash and you got to touch them and reach up with your hands and follow it. It's just not something that I do a whole lot. I just credit it all to being in the car.
Wow, that's crazy. Now you are up for your second ESPY, is that right?
I believe it's our third, actually. We've never won yet. We were nominated in 2014 and 2015 when we won the championships. And then we were nominated for last year's. In 2019, when we won, they didn't have a 2020 ESPY. So this year we're nominated again, and we're up against Lewis Hamilton, the Formula One driver, Chase Elliott, who races in NASCAR, and IndyCar drivers. So we definitely have our work cut out for us, as they're way more mainstream than NHRA drag racing, but it's still a huge honor to be nominated for an ESPY and then have your name mentioned among stick and ball great athletes and more of a mainstream media type deal. So it's a big deal for us and a huge honor.
No doubt. When I had a question I wanted to ask you about that too. Oh, so you mentioned that they didn't have it last year. And I think when I came, it was middle of the pandemic, because I remember walking around with the mask on. How was the sport affected by the pandemic? Were you guys able to continue? Did they have to call it all off because of fans and the lack of fans, or does the TV and the sponsorships in that regard allow the sport to keep going through the pandemic?
So it was a bit of a challenge for everyone. I feel like NHRA did the best job that they could to keep us racing. Our typical season is 18 events a year, and we, I believe, competed in 10 events in 2020. So all of the West Coast stuff was canceled. The Northeast stuff was canceled. It depended on state government. Every state government was different during all of that. So NHRA was working locally with those governments, and we ended up running 4 of the 10 events that we had in Indianapolis, Indiana. So Indiana was really great. Texas was obviously great because we're amazing stuff. But Houston and Dallas we ran. I'm a little partial, but it's 4 of the events were competed in Indy. So it was definitely a different season, but they did the best that they could with what they had, and I was glad that we got to race it all, because the beginning of the year, it was just we were going stir crazy. Everybody was just like, please. Like when I went, I think that was one of the first events that I had gone to since the pandemic happened. And Walt was like, do you want to go? And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's outdoors, so that's it makes me feel a little safer, but yeah, it was good to see everybody kind of back and doing something. And, it's no different, right? I mean, it's a sport, but it's a business, and every business at some point was affected by what we all went through. So it was good to see that. And of course, Texas is going to be open first, it's just how this state operates. Yeah. Now there was a movie made about you, a Disney movie made about you called Right on Track. How did that come about, for those that maybe haven't seen it or did see it, but we're always wondering about the movie itself? Talk a little bit about that, because that's a pretty cool deal to have a movie made about you. It was really cool. So the movie was filmed in 2002, which was like my senior year of high school. My sister and I, back in the day, we were like the first sisters to win a national event together. And People Magazine did an article on us, just a little 1-page article about these sisters from Houston, Texas, that were able to dominate over all of these boys at a junior dragster event and come out as winners together. So some Disney executives that were on a layover at an airport picked up the People Magazine, saw the article, and then they got in touch with my dad. And over the next 5 years, that's how long it took. they organized a cast and wrote a script, and we filmed the entire movie in Salt Lake City. So it was definitely a cool experience. It was released in March of '03, so it's been quite a while, but it still shows on the Disney Channel every once in a while, and you can access it on Disney Plus now. But just a super cool deal, and I feel like it opened up our sport to a whole new fan base. Disney said if you had cable TV, you saw the movie. So it was really cool. And to this day, almost 20 years later, we still get little kids at the rope, a lot of little girls that say, I didn't know what junior drag racing was. And I told my parents when I saw your movie that I wanted to race like you. And now I've been racing for 3 years or 10 years or whatever. And it's just like really cool to hear those stories that they were inspired to come drag racing because of my sister and I. So kind of a neat deal. Very surreal.
That has got to be the best feeling in the world to have a little girl. And I remember this because when you and I met at the race, there was a couple of kids that came up to you, I guess, for an autograph and to talk. And I just remember thinking, what a cool dynamic that is. And that has to be, as a female athlete, that has to be something that's pretty special to know you've inspired these little girls to kind of follow in your path and your footsteps, or at least give them the courage to do something in a sport predominantly dominated by men, and to let them know that, hey, it doesn't matter whether it's this sport or anything else. You could do this.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very cool position to be in. Again, it's an honor, really. Like, I remember as a child going to the drag races because that's what our family did. My dad drove, so we raced every weekend, and going to a national event like where I met you and Walt. I remember being on the other side and asking these awesome women for autographs and just looking at them. And I'm sure I have that same look in my eye that I see in some of these little kids today, just aspiring to be like them. So Shirley Muldowney, who I'm sure you've heard her name, she's a pioneer woman of drag racing. She had a movie called Heart Like a Wheel. Another person we looked up to was Angel. She's still racing currently. She rides a motorcycle. Shelly Anderson. So all of these female drag racers were the ones that I looked up to. And now I'm blessed enough to be in a position to kind of carry that torch and inspire these kids who will maybe be in my position one day and treat the next generation of kids how they should be. So it's pretty cool. I still remember how I was treated. So I try to keep that in mind, when you're tired and you're aggravated or you just got your butt kicked and whatever, but you always got to be upbeat and you always got to be positive because people are looking up to you, and it's a very cool position to be in.
You never know how that's going to affect them, right? Like I told the story on this show several times about one time I was waiting outside to get Ralph Sampson's autograph, and he was rude to me. I was like, "Mr. Sampson, can I have your autograph?" And he was like, "No." And then my mom chased him down in the parking lot of the players, and she got into his, I was going to say face, but let's be real. She was about junk high to him. She's just, yelling at his belly button. "You're rude." And yeah, people don't forget that, Yeah, you had a bad day, but they don't know that. But it's really cool that you can be somebody's inspiration. And you mentioned that your dad raced, and I guess just being around it made you want to do that. Is that how you got started?
Yes, sir. Yeah, Courtney and I went to the racetrack with my dad. He didn't race professionally, just as a hobby, and had a couple of really cool fast cars. And we went to Houston Raceway Park where I met you, and we watched him as little kids. And I remember being in the garage with him while he was working on his race car one night, and our sanctioning body's magazine is called National Dragster. And I was flipping through this magazine, and I saw this big article that said kids from 8 to 17 were going to be able to race in the Junior Drag Racing League. And so I showed it to my dad, and I'm like, "Do you think I could do it?" And he said, "You're a good kid and you make good grades. I don't see why not." And that was kind of the beginning of the end. Like, once he saw how interested we were in it and how good we were at it, he kind of eventually sold all of his stuff and became our support team, and is wholeheartedly the reason why I am where I am today. So it's kind of cool how most of the drivers out there, it's a whole family deal. Like, you can go down the list of the greats, from Coletta to Schumacher, to the Coughlin family, Jegs. It's all family oriented, and it's really neat.
Was there a lot of, once you did it, was your dad kind of a disciplinarian? Like, hey, if you're going to do this, you got to commit to it. Being as young as you were, did you know that, okay, maybe I can be good at this and let me just do become a prodigy, how Tiger Woods was, right? Like stage mom type stuff where it's like, this is all you're going to do. Or was it something you kind of gradually got into as you got older?
No, I mean, it's something that we competed in from the time I was 8 years old. My sister's 3 years younger than me. So when she turned 8, she started as well. And I raced junior dragsters until I was 17. And on my 16th birthday, I got my sportsman license that allowed me to drive big cars. They call them big cars, faster cars. And then I'd spent 5 years in the sportsman ranks before I turned professional in 2005. So kind of like a really, really long journey to get there. But I mean, I feel like we were pretty well-rounded, but my dad was definitely, he still has this rule. If you're going to start something, you finish it. You know, if you decide to take a year of dance, you're going to commit to it. Even if you hate it, you start it, you finish it. So we started this deal and we fell in love with it and, became really well at it. My sister's a tremendous athlete as well. We played volleyball, basketball, ran track, played golf all through high school. Volleyball and golf, I played all the way through high school. And my sister was a competitive cheerleader and all of those other sports that I mentioned. So we were well-rounded, but racing always came first. And we both did gymnastics for like 10 or 15 years too. So we did a little bit of everything, but as I got more involved, as I got better, all of the other things started trickling off and drag racing took precedence. And if there was a race and a volleyball tournament, I picked drag racing. So and eventually that became my entire life. And now I have nothing else to do besides drag racing. So it's really weird how that all transitioned. But to be great at something, you have to work very hard at it. You have to make a ton of sacrifices and a lot of which is your time. So you definitely have to dedicate yourself.
You golf at all still?
Not as much as I used to. I played all 4 years in high school, and then I tend to play in some charity tournaments in cities where we have races where we're trying to raise money for various charities. So we still get involved in some of that. And a lot of my guys, they throw their clubs on the plane when we head to an event, and we try to have time for, a round of golf here and there. So
what do you shoot?
Very seldom, but still a little bit.
Make me sad right now. What do you shoot? If you say scratch, this interview's over. No, I'm just kidding. What do you shoot?
I'm embarrassed to tell you.
No, trust me. I promise you it's not as bad. I mean, if I break 100, I'm super excited about that.
Okay, me too. We're good.
Okay, well, that's fine then. Good. Okay, that makes me feel better. Now,
I'm more of a ride around on the golf cart and have a couple cocktails and laugh with my guys.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Now, this is live, so we do have a chat. So if you're seeing me look off, I'm just checking the chat for questions because people do have questions for you. So I've been trying to mark those as we go and as we've been talking so that I can get their questions asked as well. Flip had a question for you. He said, what is your favorite motorsport movie?
Motorsport movie? I don't know. I guess do I have to say mine? No. I want to say probably.
You can't choose yours. That's cheating.
So I love Shirley's movie because I'm such a huge fan of Shirley's, who's become a mentor and a friend of mine. That was called Heart Like a Wheel. But as far as motorsports movies go, I don't think you can top Days of Thunder. I just love it.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm partial to Talladega Nights, but.
Well, that's way more funny for sure.
I mean, look, as a stand-up, So Tony had a question, and I think he was trying to be kind of funny, but then I saw Walt kind of answer it. So I was hoping to get more of a detailed question from you because Tony likens himself as a funny dude in the chat. But he said, do they test cars for PEDs like they test horses? And Walt was like, yeah, but talk a little bit about that, right? I mean, obviously we just saw what happened with the Olympics with Sha'Carri Richardson and being tested for marijuana. One, do they test you guys? And two, do they test the cars? And if so, how? And what are they looking for?
So we have a pretty in-depth tech department, and every race that we go to, we have to pass tech to be able to run the race. And they monitor a lot of different things. So our ECU, which is the brain to the race car that controls our electronic fuel injection and ignition and all of that, they are able to download that to make sure that the software is good and that you're not having some background cheating going on. And I'm not huge into the technical side of things. I mean, I could barely use my cell phone, but those guys are really brilliant with that stuff. So they monitor all the electronics of it. Then they come over and physically come over our race cars and make sure that they pass tech. We have to meet a minimum car and driver weight, which is 2,350 pounds. So once you go across the finish line, you come back and you don't get to go to your pit or anything. You pull off the racetrack and you have to go across the scales to make sure that you didn't run less weight to go faster. And then we have to pass a fuel check as well.
Oh, wow.
After every single run that we do, we weigh and we give fuel samples. So people, back in the past had used different additives in their fuel and their oil to make them go faster. Then there's always the nitrous stories, right, which is highly illegal in what we do.
Right.
So they monitor all of that stuff. And as far as the human element goes, we can be randomly selected to be drug tested at any time. So THC is obviously illegal. Methamphetamines is illegal. I don't think that they test for steroids or anything. If they do, I'm unaware of it. But you definitely have to be able to pass a drug test at any given point, and you have to pass a blow test as well for alcohol. So,
is there anybody trying to race drunk? I mean, that seems counterproductive. Your reaction, even with weed. Like, why aren't we testing for weed and alcohol? It's going to slow your reaction time. What's the point?
I don't know. I don't partake, so I don't know. But you wouldn't think that people would want to do that stuff. But I guess weed stays in your system for quite a bit longer than some of the other drugs. So you don't necessarily have to be high at the time that you're racing. If you just partake in THC at all, then you can be suspended. So
that's interesting. And that was this kind of the same thing. And I don't understand why, it's legal in almost half of the country, fully legal. And I think anybody that knows getting high isn't going to make you drive faster or run faster. It's just going to make you eat more and giggle. I've never understood. Can we just get rid of that I understand maybe testing for alcohol day of. You don't want somebody out there drunk doing dumb stuff if they can't handle their. But I don't know, if you smoked a joint 3 Tuesdays ago and you're out racing now and you're stone cold sober, who cares? Now I'm just bitching.
No, I agree. And part of our business here, they just passed marijuana to be medically legal in the state of Oklahoma. So we have a 36,000 square foot grow facility next door to our race shop. So
do you really? I need to come visit.
Come on.
I got this arthritis.
Boutique marijuana too. It's really apparently really great stuff. But they make all kinds of stuff over there in addition to flour, like vape cartridges and gummies and all of that stuff as well. So it's kind of one of those subjects that people are closed-minded about, but I think as time goes on and the more benefits that people see to it might change the minds of some people. But as far as being an athlete's concerned, there are rules you have to follow. I agree with you saying it'll make you slower and want to eat more and laugh more and whatever, so it's not really beneficial to your performance. So maybe that should go away, but if a rule's a rule and you can't really get around it.
Is that how you felt about
I get both sides.
Is that how you felt about the Sha'Carri Richardson thing? It's unfortunate. It probably didn't help her run faster, but as an athlete, you know what rules you're supposed to follow. So were you kind of well, it's on her?
I feel horribly for her because I know the effort that it takes and the sacrifice that it takes to compete at a level like that and to have an opportunity to be in the Olympics and have that taken away from you for something so stupid. I hate it for her. My heart breaks for her. And I know that she went through some personal things with her mom and stuff like that. So I just feel like the whole ordeal is unfortunate. But if there are a set of rules, you have to abide by them. Or you get your butt whooped, growing up with our dad at our house. If we wanted to race, we had to make straight A's and we couldn't go to parties and we couldn't get caught sneaking out. We had to be home at curfew. And if this is the reward that you want, you have to follow these rules. And that's what we did. So I get it, but I hate it for her. I really do. I think it's super unfortunate.
Yeah. Flip Rodriguez had another question for you. He said the fishtail at the start of the race, how hard is that to handle?
I think my internet just froze up. What did you say?
So Flip Rodriguez had a question for you. He said the fishtail, he called it at the beginning of the race, which we're going to go through. I guess we could answer it in the video, but he talked about that beginning part of the race. How hard is it to handle the car itself at that moment?
Okay, so at the beginning of a run, we pull through what we call a water box, and there's just a little bit of water on the ground so you can get your tires wet. Once you pull through the water, I have a line lock button which holds pressure in the front brakes, allowing the back brakes to be free. So I put about 1,000 or 1,200 pounds of front brake pressure in it, and that holds my car still. And I, rev it up, drop the clutch, and run through some gears, and that spins the back tires. I let off the line lock, freeing up the front wheels, and then we drive out with a big long smoky burnout. That's what it's called, is a burnout. And it just heats up the tires because there's chemicals in them that the heat activates them to be a little bit more sticky for better traction. And then it gets all the junk off of your tires from dragging them through the pits, and gets all the water off of them from going through the water box. So it's a procedure that everybody does before they start the race.
Fascinating. Can we go through the video? Will you do? It's a 3-minute video,
Sure.
but I would love to go through this and get your thoughts as to what you're thinking and what you're doing and why you're doing it. And I think a lot of people see this and have no idea why it's taking place. So let's do this. I've got us down here in the bottom right. Can you see the video?
I can, yeah.
Okay,
So you want me to just talk over the video?
Yeah, I'm going to turn the volume down. We're going to have some volume because at the end when you're celebrating, it's really dope. It gave me chills actually. But I just kind of want you to walk us through kind of what's happening right now as you're getting ready to run this race, which you ran. This is the one that Walt said you got a 005 and ran like a 6 something crazy fast.
Yep. So this is the final round that we talked about at the beginning of our interview, where we were competing against our rival, Greg Anderson. So this was a huge win for us. Right now in the video, you see me pulling through the water box, what I just discussed. I pull the shifter into second gear, and you see my leg. I'm pumping up the brake pressure where I set my line lock. And I go 3rd, 4th, 5th through the gears, and I roll out across the starting line. And my guys have measured the starting line, and I have to hit a mark. So I have a guy standing in front of me that tells me exactly where to go. And, the car's kind of moving around a little bit, and you have some pretty significant wheel speed. So you have to control it and hit that spot. Right now in the video, I'm backing up. In my helmet, I have my crew chief who's standing behind me, telling me left or right to get my tires exactly in the groove.
I was going to ask about
right
that.
There you see me reach up. That's my switch panel.
Because I was going to say, I think one of the hardest parts might have been backing this thing up. So there is somebody guiding you, telling you where to get to. Okay, that makes sense. All right, keep going.
Yeah.
This is fascinating.
He's telling me where to go in my helmet, so I just listen to him. And so then in front of my car, that's Richard Freeman, my team owner. He pulls me up just shy of the pre-stage beam, and I stop the car. My guys set the wheelie bars. I make sure all my switches are in the correct position. And right then he just asked me what I'm fixing to do. I said, he can't hear me because of the engine. I said, I'm fixing to bust his ass. So I went like that, and he tells me, all right, you're good to go. I tightened my belts, I put my shield down. And right now I was positioning my foot on the clutch pedal. I put the car in 1st gear. And I'm rolling into pre-stage.
I want to pause. Like right now, what are you thinking? Because this is the moment, right? Once you're at this point in the race, this is where you have to be super locked in, super focused, right? Because this is where the reaction time is going to come into play. So what's going through your mind right now in the car?
So right where you pause this, like 2 seconds before that, before I lowered my shield, I took like a really big deep breath. Like I'm the queen of deep breaths. And I feel like that just kind of lowers your heart rate and lets your mind be clear.
Right there. Yeah.
You see me right there. You see that big deep breath.
Gotcha.
And that's kind of when I let it all out. And
Calm
from that point
down.
on, I don't do much thinking from that point on. It's just pure focus. And I want to do my procedure perfectly. Like you have to stage really shallow, and when you're cutting reaction times that close to perfect, you don't want to be on the wrong side of it. So you have to be staged very, very shallow. So honestly, I perform the best when I don't think. So I'm just clearing my mind and staying as focused as I can.
All right, so now this you talked about the Christmas tree. It's the red, yellow, green, or I guess is it red, yellow, green? Yeah, and it's counting you down. So as you're watching that, we can see it kind of blinking through the windshield. Is that the blinking up top letting you know that all right, you're about to start? Is that what that is?
Correct. Those blue lights at the top, they're called pre-stage and stage. So pre-stage tells you that you're approaching the starting line. Stage says that you're there. So as soon as that stage bulb comes on, you want to stop the car. And then that's where I shove the clutch all the way in and I deck the throttle. And then I'm wide open throttle. And as soon as the 3 ambers flash, like they come on at the same time, as soon as I see that, I just dump the clutch and I'm already wide open with the throttle.
That's
and then
crazy.
I get my eyes on the horizon of the finish line, and you'll see me run through the gears.
That's amazing. And you're really.
My right hand will go to the steering wheel.
I'm sorry, but you're really driving this with one hand. I mean, that's the crazy thing about this is this machine that you're controlling. It's all with your left hand, and this is gonna sound super stupid, Erica. Don't make fun of me. Do you have to work out like your left hand or your left arm more so that you can control this thing? See, I knew it. She's making fun of me, Chad.
No, I'm not. I'm fixing to tell you that my left calf is way bigger than my right one. Like when I wear knee boots, I have to get freaking wide calf on my left leg because my left leg is so much stronger than my right one. It's stupid. So not a stupid question.
That's hilarious. So you're just walking around with
Popeye on one side and the other side I'm like a girl. It's
olive
weird.
oil. You're like Popeye and olive oil. Just that's hilarious. Oh my God. Okay, well, now I don't feel so dumb. I'm gonna thank you. I was like, this is the stupidest question ever, but I'm gonna ask it. All right, so walk me through the race. I'm gonna move this back forward a little bit. This is so dope, by the way. Again, thank you for doing this. This is great. I didn't know any of this stuff really happened. All right, so walk me through the actual 6 seconds of the race from the start to the finish, which I know it's hard to cover it in 6 seconds, but kind of I'll keep rewinding it as you talk us through it. But talk us through what happens in those 6 seconds, because like I said, you're shifting and you're driving, and there's a lot more going on, I feel like, than we're seeing.
Yeah, there's a ton going on. So right at the beginning, I was in first gear, right? And once I'm staged, I have my foot on the clutch, I'm wide open throttle, I'm holding it in first gear, and I have the line lock button on my left hand that I talked about in the burnout that holds pressure in the front brakes. So after I pre-stage, before I stage, I put 250 pounds of brake pressure in the front brakes so that when I deck the throttle with the clutch in, it doesn't allow the car to creep. So that's what I'm doing. I got that stopped position.
Right here.
And then once the lights flash, yeah, right there. What I said is what I was doing. As the lights flash, I unclutch it, second, third, fourth, fifth. Done. And then my hand will go to the steering wheel and that deploys my parachutes. And then at the finish line, I clutch it and let off the gas. And I'm turning the ignition off and all that, and then celebrating ridiculously.
Now, what is the... Oh, I can imagine. I just want them to hear how excited you are about this. But what's the yellow light above the dash that comes on at the end of the race? What was that? By the way, I like that you have a radio in there, or whatever that is. That's outstanding.
So you'll see the light flashing as I go through the gears. That's my shift light. And then it comes on before the finish line because the way that we had the car geared, we reached our rev limiter before the finish line, which is 10,500 RPM, which is a rule designated by the NHRA. So you'll see that come on before I actually clutch it and get off of the gas at the finish line. But each time that light flashes, then you'll see my hand move. So that's my shift light telling me when to shift.
Gotcha. Oh, perfect. And that's part of that reaction time where you're knowing, all right, this is the peak. What happens if you don't? What happens if you don't? If you're a little late or you're way late on shifting on that light?
So when we changed from carburetors to electronic fuel injection, we also had a rev limiter that was implemented. There was no rev limiter before, so you could shift however high you wanted without exploding your engine. So these cars were shifting between 11 and 12,000 RPM. Now we're limited to 10,500. So if you're late on a shift and you go on the rev limiter, like it drops the nose of the car, your G meter goes down, you lose all forward momentum. So being late just slows your run down. On the other side of it, if you're too early, if you anticipate it, you knock the clutch out of it. So the way that we have the clutch set up to come meet the engine RPM, if you pull it early, it never gets to the engine RPM. So it stays separated and it never goes one-to-one, and it slows the car down also. I do want to add that yes, you have to pay attention to your instruments, but at the same time, like, you have to drive by the seat of your pants. So first round at this event, not on this video, we had serious tire shake. And when that happens, you have to get it out of gear before the shift light comes on and try to get it to take second gear and go down the racetrack, which I was able to do. Had I waited on the shift light with the tire shake that was happening, it would have run it on the limiter and completely upset the chassis even more so than it already was. So, and then the other side of that is if you're light on clutch. When you're light on clutch, it turns the shift light on immediately. If you pull it when the shift light tells you to pull it, you knock the clutch right out of it and you have to abort the run because it just fries the clutch unit. So You have to listen to your instruments, but you also have to drive by the seat of your pants, if that makes sense.
Crazy. All right, let's just watch this, and then I just want to hear you celebrating at the end of this, because this is, I mean, you can feel the genuine human emotion, which I'm here for. Trust me. Do you know you've got him right now? Do you know? Like in the race, right when you're in the middle of it? Okay. You kind of know.
I felt like I did. When I let go of the clutch on the starting line, I knew I had a really great reaction time. And when we got through low gear without tire shake, I knew we were on a good run and we were going to be hard to beat at that point. Once I put it in high gear, I kind of look over to see if because you can tell if he's out in front of you, and he wasn't. And I'm like, please, 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 please. And then when we went across the finish line, I have no way of knowing if we won because at that particular track, they didn't have a win light past the finish line for the driver to see. So I had to wait for my guy's reaction over the radio in my helmet. So that's kind of why my response is delayed. After I hit the parachutes, turn my switches off, and I'm like, did we win? Did we win? And then you'll see me like, yay.
Here it is right here.
Right.
Just listen to this, chat.
Yeah.
You can hear it. Yes.
Way to go, boys.
Yeah, way to go, boys. That's what I was talking about. Like, you just did that, but you're all, way to go, boys. Like, yes.
Then right here, I think I say something.
Yeah!
Love it.
I'm really proud of y'all. Excellent job.
See? Again with the, I'm really proud of you. That's amazing, Erica. That is just, that's a true team. Because you're out front. You're the star. You're the driver. But boy, all the credit in the world you just give that whole way to the crew. Good for you. That's pretty badass.
They did an awesome job, and I was proud of them.
Man, that was dope. I just got to go through an entire race with you. Do you understand how cool this was for me to be able to do that? Especially since I'm such a moron when it comes to this sport that I have no idea. So getting to watch and listen to you explain that, thank you for doing that. Because by the way, I just want to point out, chat, this wasn't planned. She didn't know I was going to throw that at her. In fact, I didn't even tell Walt until the last second, but he was like, she'll be cool with it. That was amazing. Thank you for doing that. That was a lot of fun.
Well, thank you. And it's cool that you showed the in-car camera, because if you just watch it on TV from the outside, it's like, well, how hard can that be? They're going in a straight line and going 215 miles an hour, right? Stab it and steer it. But you see how much activity takes place in the cockpit of the car, how much pressure is on the driver's shoulders. It's pretty intense in there. So I think it's a cool perspective for people that really don't know what's going on, and shows you kind of how challenging it is to race one of these cars.
Now, I remember, and this will be the last thing, and I know you're busy, so I'll let you go because I don't want to keep you forever, but this has been awesome for me. And again, thank you so much for joining me here on Barry on Deck and doing this. There was Walt, and he was like, and Sydney both were like, so when you get to the starting line, take off your mask and your glasses, and because there's going to be like a moment where you tear up and you like, I forget what he called it, but what is happening at that moment? There's like some chemical that gets released in the air or something happens. What the hell was that? Because I forgot about it, but just watching that video kind of reminded me of that moment. What is happening if people don't know that?
So the fuel that the top fuel in funny cars burn is nitromethane, and it is a very strong smelling fuel. It kind of has like a yellow haze in the air. It makes your eyes water. It makes you choke. It's really hard to breathe when that fuel is in the air. So that's kind of what makes you cry and what makes you cough. We don't run that type of fuel, but we do run Sunoco SR18 fuel, and it burns. It has a little bit of a sweeter smell, but it still makes your eyes water a little bit. And then the fumes, obviously, from the burnout can get you as well. But I've been around this sport my entire life, and people say, "Oh, you get used to the nitro." I don't think so. I've been around it 30 years, and I still cry every single time I breathe it in. So
It was don't you worry?
It's a very stout smelling.
Oh, it was crazy. Do you worry though? Do you have to get checked for these chemicals in your lungs and all that because you're around all these fuels and fumes and tire smoke? Is that a concern at all for you guys in the sport?
I'm sure it'll fall on one of those mesothelioma commercials in about 30 years, probably, if you've been around asbestos or if you've been around nitromethane and burning rubber for your entire life, you might have lung cancer.
Listen, we got a sponsor of this show.
That's not the case, but it's I'm sure it's a hazard for sure.
This show is sponsored by the AP Law Group. I'll give you their number. And no, this is outstanding. Erica, how can the people keep up with you and follow you on social media? Because I'm sure I know my audience well, and they're probably gung-ho now about following your journey to your 5th world championship and the ESPYS, and I'm sure they're going to want to vote. By the way, chat, what I'm going to do is on her Facebook page was a link to go vote for the ESPYS. It is a fan vote. I'm going to put that in the link and the description and the comments of this show. I'll also put it on our show's Discord server so you guys can go vote if you want to and help Erica win her first ESPY. So how can they keep up with you and follow you on social media or otherwise?
So my sister Courtney does a fantastic job of doing our social media and PR work on Facebook and Instagram both. It's Erica Enders Racing. She always posts cool videos and pictures from the weekends, obviously race results as well, and some fun shenanigans that happen at the race shop. But if you don't see the link on your page, you can certainly go to one of our social media platforms and find the link there. But we would love it if your listeners would follow us as well, and we promise to provide them with some great entertainment.
Did I get that right? I put it on the screen there. Erica Enders Racing is how you can find Erica.
Yes, sir. That's it.
Perfect. Oh my God, this was so much fun. I'm so glad we finally made this happen. Erica, thank you so much for doing this. This was absolutely a ball for me. I hope it wasn't too inconvenient for you.
No, not at all. You brightened my day. It was kind of mundane here in Oklahoma. So thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. And thanks to Walt for organizing it. And
yes.
I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You too. We'll see you at the races, Erica, especially next time you come back. I'm hoping I'll get to be there again to see you race. This was outstanding. You guys, Erica Enders, make sure you follow her and go vote for her for the ESPYs. Erica, thank you so much for joining me. Yo, that was so cool for me to get to do that. When Walton, I have a video of her in the car racing. I was like, oh, I have an idea. I want her to walk me through a race. Like, that was dope for me. I don't know if you guys enjoyed the shit out of that. I absolutely enjoyed that. And oh man, that was super dope. Hey, can we all give it up for Walt? I think we got to do a shot in Walt's honor for making that all happen, Walt. That was outstanding. House, you got some clipping to do, buddy. That was good stuff. Cheers, Walt, buddy. I appreciate you so much, my friend. Cheers to everybody, but especially Walt, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you, buddy. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Jesus. Oh, my God. All right, you're the man, Walt. Okay. Real quick. There was one other thing I wanted to do for sure. It's 3:47, and I know we started a little late, so I might go a couple minutes over. But I do need to and want to tell you about Dan's Seafood and Wings, folks. If you're looking for the best seafood in the city of Houston, hands down, you got to get yourself over to Dan's Seafood and Wings. There is 2 locations in the city of Houston that you can go to for seafood. And the best seafood, I should say. The southwest side on South Gessner. You can also go to the Uvalde location, which is on the northeast side. They've got boiled spicy shrimp. They've got grilled platters. They've got the lo mein, which is Francisco Abarca's favorite. They've got the New Orleans barbecue shrimp, which Nora loves the boiled spicy shrimp. Not a big fan of New Orleans style barbecue shrimp, but I'm telling you right now, she said unequivocally, Dan's boiled spicy shrimp, best shrimp she's ever had. She really won't eat spicy shrimp anywhere else other than Dan's. That's it. I promise you when I tell you, all of the deckheads that go to Dan's have loved it, and I think you're going to love it as well. And don't forget, it's still crawfish season. I don't know how much longer we have But if you want some of the best crawfish in this city, go to Dan's Seafood and Wings. You can log on to eatadans.com. That's the website. Follow them on IG. Take a look at some of the pictures that they have. Oh my goodness, it looks as good as it tastes. So make sure you put some Dan's in your mouth. All right. I wanted to talk. So I have this list. I teased it in the show header, I guess. Tyler said late, but made it for that sweet interview. Thanks, dude. Yeah, that was a lot of fun for me. Glad you made it. Better late than never, by the way, Tyler. I wanted to go over this list with you guys. So a research firm went on Twitter and tried to find the most hated athletes on Twitter based on mean stuff that was being said about them by people on Twitter. And earlier we talked about, weirdos and people. Well, here's the list. This is your top 10 most hated athletes based on abusive terms used, on Twitter. LeBron James is number 1. Again. And it's not even close. LeBron James had 122,568 abusive terms you found and used in conjunction with his name. And the way that they did this, so this company called ESPYS said they collected data from June 2020 to June 2021, finding messages that contained this is a quote here, words, phrases, and hashtags that were known to be abusive terms against certain players. The top 10 results can be seen on your screen. Now, I'll be honest with you. I expect to see a LeBron James. I thought maybe Tom Brady would have been higher, though I bet you if he was still in New England, he would have moved up. But Marcus Rashford coming in second. I got to be honest with you. I don't know who that is. Oh, that's why. It's a soccer player. So Marcus Rashford was born in Manchester, England. He's a forward for Manchester United. And he is the second most hated athlete on Twitter, according to the use of abusive terms. Tom Brady was third. Kevin Durant was fourth. Bubba Wallace fifth. Dame Lillard sixth. Trevor Bauer seventh. Cristiano Ronaldo eighth. Steph Curry 9. And Mesut Ozil was 10. And I got to be honest, I have no idea. I'm guessing that's another soccer player. Is it Mesut or Mesut? I don't know. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Mesut O'Neill is a German professional soccer player who plays for, I don't know. I can't even pronounce that name. So here's where I'm super surprised about this. You got a couple soccer players. You got a lot of American football players and basketball players. And actually, you just have one American football player, but you got a lot of basketball players, first of all. The one thing that's surprising about this list, no Astros. Not a single solitary Astro. No. So let me get this straight. The entire world hates the Astros, but they don't hate them more than they hate Dame Lillard. What did Dame Lillard do to anybody where he would be hated that much? And as many chumps as there are in sports that you have the right to be hated, or you have the right to maybe hate on, I guess is a better way to put it. Like, how is Conor McGregor not on here? How is what's his name? OBJ. Not on, like, there's a ton of other names I could think of. I understand some of the soccer players being on here because of the popularity of the sport worldwide, but damn. And let's not sleep on the fact that LeBron, 4 times as many abusive terms and hate on Twitter as the next closest one. That's pretty wild. Total Dallas said I can help get the Astros on there next year. That's outstanding. Yeah, Total Dallas never shy about his Astros hate. In a sea of Astros fans in the chat, Total Dallas never shy about his Astros hate. Ronaldo and LBJ shouldn't be on there. Okay. A lot of LeBron ones probably came in after the Your Next thing. Good point. Very good point, Tyler. Bubba Wallace being there isn't surprising, but goddamn, you hate to see it. Yeah. But it's true, though. I mean, I think if I'm thinking of NBA, I understand LeBron being the most hated. Baseball, who was baseball? Was that Trevor Bauer was the most hated? Boy, Astros fans were busy. If Trevor Bauer was the most hated, when I feel like a guy like Altuve or maybe, a Garrett Cole over the last year, for sure. Alex Bregman, I'm surprised isn't on there. A lot of people love to hate him. And then in football, Tom Brady you get just because he's the face of the NFL right now. But man, when you think about all of the problems that football players had over the last year from June 2020 to June 2021, Tom Brady was a saint. Tom Brady, I mean, all he did was endear himself to the rest of the world and play good football. Why is that dude? Speaking of that, let me transition into something that I thought was pretty funny. So speaking of Tom Brady, he basically trolled himself after the match. I don't know if you guys watch this. I don't really give a shit about it. It's not something that I'm going to be like all into. I mean, I'll watch a little golf here and there, but he was on or in, I think this is the TNT's fourth edition of The Match, where it was Aaron Rodgers and Bryson DeChambeau versus Tom Brady and Phil Mickelson. And they just play golf and have fun, and it's on TV, and okay, it's not my thing, but it's whatever. So apparently, I didn't watch it, but apparently Brady and Mickelson got their ass whooped, and it was Tom Brady's fault. He was the reason that they got their ass whooped. So wow, that's super big. Let me shrink that down. We're going to put this right here. So he tweeted out this tweet, and the tweet itself, I don't think you can really see it, but it says hands up or hand up. So he's basically owning the problem. He's basically saying I was the problem. But now the great part is that he uses the memes that he had started making, he made for himself again. So he's got in the back, Aaron hitting every fairway and making every putt, and then me. He has another one. Who was the other guy? It was DeChambeau and I forget the other dude's name. But this is TNT scheduling next year's tournament. Phil, when they try to pair me with him for a third time next year. These are really good. Like, you gotta love Tom Brady's self-deprecating. Oh yeah, Brooks Koepka, that's what it is. Bryson and Aaron beating our heads in on the back nine. Memes and trash talk not translating to being good at golf. Folks, I'm here to tell you. If you didn't like Tom Brady before and you can't like him now, you're just a fucking hater. Any dude that will make self-deprecating memes, other memes about players that he's playing against, or like Aaron Rodgers and this thing, and I mean, come on, fam. This dude was Mr. Button-Up, canned answer guy, never letting his hair down and having fun with the media because of Belichick and the Patriot way and all that. And we all hated him for it because not only was he like that, but he was winning. But now he's winning, but he's having fun. He's enjoying himself. And he's fucking around on the internet, and I'm here for it. I like it. That's the kind of stuff you want to see from stuffy old Tom Brady. So, I don't know. If you're going to hate on Tom, boy, I think you could find a lot of people other than Tom Brady to hate on, especially now. I don't understand the shirt, though. Everybody's posting a picture of this shirt. What am I missing in this shirt? I don't understand. There's some shirt that people are posting. I don't know. They're probably just trying to make money off of old Tom. So I wanted to bring that up too. What is this? KB Holmes, I'm all in on Brady after his drunken party at the parade. That was the other one. Good point, KB Holmes. I forgot about that as well. Dude's out here tossing the Lombardi. Oh, one boat to the next, half baked and drunk. Come on, fam. Come on. Robert, you ain't shit. Robert, you ain't shit. He said, I'm surprised AJ was not on that list. You wise guy, you. Total Dallas said, yeah, I don't like him, but the self-deprecation is awesome. So you still don't like him? Why? Is it just because he's a winner? Is that why, Total Dallas? Is that why you don't like him? Because he's a winner? Huh? You don't like to see people succeed? You don't like winners? All right, one more thing, and then I'm going to get out of here. Let's do a non-sports. Total Dallas just straight up owned it. Yes. Yes, because he's better than any Cowboy I root for. Don't hate me, CC. It's just facts. All right, chat. I have one question for you. Before we get out of here and I go get some videos ready to upload and do some yard work. I got to get out there and kill some weeds, man. Would you, and I want you to think about this. I want you to think about it before you just... I want you to think about this before you just blindly answer this question, okay? Question. Would you eat beer-flavored ice cream? No, scratch that. Would you eat ice cream made out of beer? For example, you see the beer on the left? That ice cream on the right is made out of the beer on the left. An inventor has created a machine that turns beer and other alcohol into soft serve ice cream. Oh my God. What? Basically, he was saying, I tried to do this and, alcohol just doesn't freeze enough. It doesn't get cold enough. And then he found, he's like, I started experimenting with various gums and stabilizers used in the ice cream industry. And eventually he patents something called the NEA gel or the NEA gel. It's a magical concoction that allows alcohol to freeze to a near solid inside the below zero, freeze to a near solid inside the below zero ice cream machine. So he's got the ice cream machine. He puts the alcohol in. He adds this additive that he's created. He said the way it truly works, we like to say the gel hugs the alcohol and then turns it into ice cream. With alcohol, the freezing point is what we've created. There's never been a freezing point because it's never been able to be consumed at the freezing point. In the beginning days, we used liquid nitrogen to make below zero, but now with new machines, you can put it out in cone and easy and ready to eat flavors. Here's the thing. The ABV is exactly the same as it is in the can, which means you can get drunk on your ice cream. What? So however many beers it would take you, that's how many ice creams it would take you to get shit-faced. Walt said, this guy is better than Ben and Jerry. Yeah, fuck those guys. CC said my basement is frozen. CC, that's insane. The more you eat, the more hugs you get. Let's see. He says it takes around 30 minutes for beer to go from liquid to ice cream, but higher alcohol content drinks take longer. So you could do a White Claw like that. House, probably get a Mike's Hard Lemonade ice cream like that. Okay, if I'm being honest, I would probably do this with like a Mike's Hard Lemonade. I would probably do this with my beloved Bacardi Lime. But I don't think I would do like a Bud Light. A Dos Equis ice cream? No, fam. I'm good. I don't need a Dos Equis ice cream. That's not good at all. But like like a Mike's Hard Lemonade, a Bacardi and lime, something with a little fruitiness or sweet flavor. I would try that. I don't need a fucking Lone Star ice cream though. Let's not get crazy. Right? I don't need that. Everybody's like, take my... Jonathan, I gained 5 pounds just listening to this. A fruited sour would be perfect. See, now you're talking. MD 2020 in a waffle cone. Truck driver Pookie. Duh, bro, don't be doing this. Ooh, Crown Royal salted caramel. Wow. Don't badmouth my delicious Lone Star. I don't want that shit in an ice cream, though. That doesn't sound good. I mean, maybe do like one of those hard seltzers or whatever. So the American Inventor has been advertising the ice cream machine by serving up cones at catering events. If you want this for yourself, deckheads, if you want one. Ray said, will it get your stomach bubbly? I don't know if it'll give you the shits or not. That's a good question. Rum and Coke. See, that's not a bad idea. That's a kind of a sweet. If you want one of these, $6,000. What? $6,000 for an ice cream machine. I'm trying to get a picture of it here. This is what it looks like. Hold on, let me see if this copy's off. Yeah, it did. So this is the ice cream machine right here. That's the $6,000 ice cream machine that'll turn your alcoholic beverage into an ice cream. Now, see, you could do Jaeger bombs. Here's Hennessy and Red Bull vanilla, absinthe. No thanks. We should do a GoFundMe. BOD ice cream machine. Listen. I would love that at the BOD studio one day. I don't think Nora would allow it. Now, it says in this article, Below Zero isn't the world's first alcoholic ice cream. 3 years ago, Buzz Pop Cocktails alcohol-infused popsicles made with fresh fruit and premium liquors was introduced. Okay. But I like the fact that you can pour any alcohol in this machine. You're not buying whatever flavors they're selling over at Buzz Pop. You literally could do I want vanilla Crown Royal and vanilla Coke. Put in there. Done. Now, I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know if you can combine other, like the Coke, because it's going to freeze faster. So I think all you can really do is pour in your alcohol. Because then you got to put in that gel stuff that makes it turn into ice cream. And if you added Coke to that, it's going to freeze faster. And that may be a disaster. So what you may have to do is just get a flavored alcohol and put that in there, which is why, like I said, Mike's Hard Lemonade or Vanilla Crown or stuff like that might be pretty good. Turn that whiskey tasting into an ice cream tasting. That would be pretty dope. $6K for the beer cone. Hell no. Ain't nobody paying for that. But the machine is $6K. And don't forget, you still got to buy the gel that turns the alcohol into it. Oh, hey, wait. No, I didn't mean to play that yet. Before I get out of here, I got to tell the fine folks out there. Actually, you know what? We'll do it twice tomorrow. We'll do it twice tomorrow. That's how sometimes it happens. Because I want there to be more people here when I do the reads. So Kathy, don't worry. I got you twice tomorrow. As always, Barry on Deck brought to you by the AP Law Group. If you have been injured in an accident or had a loved one that suffered a wrongful death at the hands of somebody else, please make sure you call them 713-913-GO-AP or log on to aplawgroup.com. Folks, that's a wrap. Sorry for the super late start today. Got a lot going on. I'm going to try to get better at being on time. No guarantees. Hey! Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me, as always. Yeah, I'll see you on the Discord, bitches. Until tomorrow. Kelly Eco's going to join me again to talk basketball. Do me three favors. Be safe. Be kind. And most importantly, love each other. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Daddy's making a YouTube video!